Even swinging stars does order drumsticks from Shillingford. And for those of you who love Risa Pull, AC Shillingford keeps your belly full. Buy your chicken wholesale at AC Shillingford. From wings to thighs to drums to breasts to backs to necks, it's available. It's always available and it's affordable. Plus, you've got pork feet, ham and turkey, bull foot, chicken nuggets, pepperoni, all those right seasonings to make your kitchen keep on ticking. Buy your wholesale chicken at AC Shillingford. When you think of chicken, think of AC Shillingford. Always ready.
You want the best, what you do? Shop at the better than the rest. Go shop at the and the husband will shop at the you get more for what is there. Shop at the shop at the yeah. Shop at the shop at the what is there. Shop at the yes, family, customer friendly, with free locations, it's so convenient, and our price is there. Madam, that's where you belong. Oh, tell your mama, tell your papa, shop at the tell your son and your daughter, shop at the auntie, and cousin, friend, open power, all of them. My grandma, open neighbor, girlfriend, boyfriend, side, what? Shop at the shop at the shop at the shop at the check us out at Pottersville, High Street, and downtown Rose. The New India Insurance Company has reopened its doors in Portsmouth, offering the same great services you get in Roseau: motor vehicle insurance, home and business owners, fire and related perils, public liability, and so much more. Come, visit us today for insurance with a personal touch on Bay Street, Portsmouth, or call us at 445-4023. We are ready to serve you. Dominican, insure your property, protect your property. You homeowner and businessman, protect your property, insure your property. Can't wait for the hurricane, can't wait till you flood again, can't wait till your roof fly out and all your business running out. Remember, no insurance company will insure your property when a storm is approaching. Get ahead of the hurricane season and insure with a company who gives you the assurance of payment for your valid claim. Come speak with us today at the New India Assurance Company Limited, upstairs AC Shillingford and Company Limited, 24 King George Street, Roseau. Bring along an up-to-date valuation from a qualified engineer and get insured today. Looking for a quiet, relaxing place to stay? Call Porter's Place Guest House. Leaving the office late and need somewhere close to town? Call Porter's Place Guest House. Have business clients coming in and need accommodation? Call Porter's Place Guest House. Looking for group accommodation? Call Porter's Place Guest House. Located at 37 Goodwill Road in Portersville, upstairs ACS Supermarket. Enjoy our semi-self-contained rooms with private washroom, bathroom, Wi-Fi, air condition, cable network, mini refrigerator, all in a non-smoking environment. Call or WhatsApp at 1767-275-1899 or email us at info@portersplaceguesthouse.com to make your reservations. Porter's Place, your home away from home. Fit for a king, a queen, and all their royal subjects.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to your favorite sports program on a Thursday night. Tonight is Holy Thursday, by the way, for all. In fact, all four of us here are Catholics, really, by the way. So I'm Lockett Sebastian and
Ron Lander.
Dr. Thompson Fontaine.
Emmanuel
and
Black.
Emmanuel Loblack. And tonight we have a good program for you. We first will have Ronald Chas because we're going to be talking about cycling. I think he has a big event this weekend. We're also going to have Red Sparrow and Fazia Mohammed to speak with us about the first class competition and other aspects of West Indies cricket. If we have time, we talk about the character game, Glow Black. It starts tomorrow in Trinidad. Dominica has a Ronald contingent of what? Nine?
Nine.
Nine, yeah.
And
Plenty of officials, by
seven
the way.
officials.
Plenty of officials.
How many?
So,
How many officials?
7 Low Black.
What?
Yeah, plenty.
Yes,
Character game starts tomorrow. So we have a nice program tonight. So
That's madness.
as I said, we're gonna have Reds and Fazia from 7. Ronald Church is coming in, and we're just gonna give a good show. As it's Holy Thursday, guys, let's start with a little gospel, a little nice song about Glow Black. I know you like that. We'll start with that as we start.
Which one do you want?
Anyone, it is well with my soul, they say, Glow Black.
Sebastian.
Yeah, we're gonna play a little gospel to start the night, Lobby. That's as it's Holy Thursday.
Well, yes, it's holy.
Are you going to church tonight, Glow Black? Or you went already?
No, tonight.
Okay.
Normally, tomorrow,
Right, so
tonight.
let's start with a little gospel thing. Too.
Yeah. Tonight, tomorrow, Saturday.
The Champions League.
Well,
After that, big victory. Yes.
well, is well with my soul. And should buffet fire. Assurance. It is well with my soul. Is well. It is well.
Yes. Well, as I said it, well, guys, we all are Catholics, all 4 of us. I know. I know Dr. Ronald for sure. I, Lobby, a big guy, and when we grew up in the country, right after Carnival Tuesday. Well, I don't know how it went. It was in Grandpa, and even Ronald, you grew up, or even around the gardens of your parents. Everything was on hold until, in fact, people would need certain meats during the Lent. You wouldn't hear music anywhere at all, no dancing, nothing. But I have to talk about the hypocrisy now during Lent. We like people in high place. We have a call already. Let's take the caller. We'll come back to what I'm saying about Lent. Good evening. Hello? 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 Okay, that call is not ready. Yeah, so like I said, we grew, all four of us are Catholics. After Carnival Tuesday, you wouldn't hear any fete, nothing. But the hypocrisy, and you're not hearing anything from the big people in the Catholic Church. What you have now in Lent, people playing music all over the place. You hear people in high places having all kind of barbecues on weekends with people almost press tutuni, they say. Well, people that don't understand tutuni, people like this is James and Linton, the people from Marigot, it means naked. And you know, somebody told me, and I don't believe it because I don't think that could happen, that in that same set, people were actually naked there. And I still can't believe it. But you had people almost tutuni exposing themselves. People back during Lent, when we grew up, that was never like that, guys. And then nobody's saying anything in Dominica. Let's take this caller. Good evening.
Well, Sibo,
Yeah.
all I just want to say, I want to congratulate the Manchester United fans. Let them know that they still gas in the tank.
What happened?
They won 6-4.
But I put up, you mean United won the game?
Yes.
We'll talk about, I can't believe, I came there vexed, you know, because United from 2-0 up Wellington were down 4-2. I can't believe that. Anyway, we talk about, I'm shocked because I was so vexed just watching that. But they're going back, and nobody, like I say, you're a guy who was always in choir. And you see in Lent now what is happening, that people in high places having all kind of barbecue all over the place, all kind of fetes. You go on a Friday night, and when we grew up, you never had that. And nobody is saying the Catholic. You know, hearing any priest or crying out, like the Rasta will say, chanting down this nonsense. That's happening down.
But Sibo,
Mm-hmm.
you're talking about what is happening now. Let's go back in times. From the time you hear it was Ash Wednesday, you never heard anything again in those days from Ash Wednesday. 40 days of everything was pious time, sacrifice. Time has changed completely. There's a lot of noise. It's a noisy place now.
Yeah, but people in high places, people who support, and you hear the same people talking about God, about this God is this and that, using God like hypocrisy, and nobody's saying anything. That was never like that, Ronald. When we grew up, Thompson, I showing Grandford, that's how it was.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't, people did not drink. They observed it. I mean, they really took time to observe that particular period.
Mm-hmm.
But as you said, it's changed now. It is,
Yeah, but the people who should be setting the example, they're the ones who causing the problem. Some of them, people in high places, have people fetting all by pools, almost naked, and when you see all their body exposed and that kind of foolishness. And no, and like I say, I'm a Catholic, I'll be a Catholic, but the Catholic Church must speak out against this thing. People must be afraid. And Dominica, to me, it's just a joke. We have a lot of callers here. Let's take them. Good evening. Hello? Hello? What, do we have a problem now? Good evening, caller.
You're not hearing?
You hear?
Yes.
Say that. Go ahead and say it again.
Prisoner number 23.
Oh.
But see, but nowadays is nasty business are going on. But the first time I really heard music in Dominica played during a Good Friday was one Good Friday. I came from service and I come in down Valley Road there. I hear the music blasting away. But who could be doing that? Some Haitians that had a business. It somebody managed to call Frenchy. Right away, right in his building there, and then people are music slamming away. I said, what? First time in my life I'd ever heard of something so on a Good Friday was that time. I said, since after that, well, it's nasty business and monkey business and everything. But see, boy, I hear you say this afternoon, but you never cheat on your wife till 1993 you married, and you never cheat on your wife, but she was not easy on that.
Well, call his name. The person was saying that. Why you don't call his name? You afraid to call his name? The person that was saying that you're afraid to call his name.
And I say yes, when I hear that. And them people going for communion, you know the hurtful thing about that. When you're looking at all them men going and receive communion, I watching the speaker of the house go and receive communion. I say, Lord have mercy, I don't know why the communion doesn't choke them or fall down from their mouth. See, but I listen in that one.
All right, good night. We have another caller. Good evening.
Simon,
Well,
good
I
night
know
to
I
you.
know you are Catholic. Good night.
Yes,
I want
and
to hear
everybody
you.
else. I didn't go to church because I have a problem with transport.
Right. So I
Because
want
you
to
know, I
hear.
myself is a photo.
I
Right?
know that.
No, let me say to all fairness, the priest has nothing to do with that. And listen to me well.
Of course, we're listening.
Right? No, the church is not the hierarchy alone. We are part of the church. See what we had Lent. The priest spoke. We had retreat. The priest spoke. We had upturn from Trinidad. We spoke. We're in the Holy Week now. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is we that have to change our ways and our attitudes. It has nothing to do with the priest. I put in my hand. When we go to Mass on a Sunday, the priest preach according to the gospel, right? He preaches, everything is in there. We sit down there, we listen, who going to communion, who giving communion. After we leave there is another story. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, right.
So I'm being fair now. We Catholics, I say Catholics because I'm a Catholic, right? But
correct.
Dominican hold. We have to begin to change our ways. See, but you know what happened? We have turned our backs on God. So you see that is what is happening.
Well, let me ask you. I am sure you have WhatsApp and you see some videos. I am sure you would have seen videos of a particular barbecue in a particular place.
Yeah, but you understand what I'm saying?
You don't understand? I'm the
We
priest here.
are
The priest
adults,
not
people.
encouraging
We are
that.
adults.
But the point I'm making, the leaders of in Dominica cannot encourage that, and then you use God.
Yeah,
and,
but you understand? You always, let me tell you,
Yeah.
not everybody that going to church, they are Christian, you know what I'm saying? You have one day Christian.
Okay.
Let us, I talk, we have one day Christian. You go to church on a Sunday or Saturday when you're going, and when you leave there, as though you didn't go at all. You understand what I'm saying? But I am saying, in this world now, people have turned their backs on God, and that is why they're doing all what. But see what they tell me, adults don't know what is right. And come on, man, come on.
I hear you.
Listen.
I hear you. All right. We have another caller. Yeah, no. Yeah, but you see, as you say, Lobby, Ronald, people in Dominica, leaders in Dominica encouraging this.
I firmly believe that the authorities in the church should make a statement on those matters. They should be guiding people spiritually. If they see people are going astray, especially under the leadership of the political directorate, a statement should be made by the bishop and the senior priests of the church.
Yeah, I agree with you. Let's take the call. That's the point I was trying to get across. Good evening, caller.
Hello?
Yes.
How
are you, my dear?
Well,
You well? You well?
Flu giving me a little beating.
But apart from that, you well, right?
So I am well, but not well. That I didn't go to church for about 4 weeks.
Okay.
Nobody didn't even know I am at my home sick. Well sick too. Let me tell you that, Mr. Sibo, the Catholic Church is my church.
Right.
We're not doing enough.
I agree with you.
And I don't care who vex, who don't vex. We all of us have different views. I am tired of telling you one thing a month or twice a month. Call all of us together and let us talk. And, pray for Dominica. Pray for the young people. Pray for the elderly. We don't reach it out enough. I maybe should not reach it out enough, and we must take some blows for that. Because you cannot just stay on your side and you're preaching there, and you're saying you're reaching people. Dominica has a lot of problems that we need to fix. And we need the people of our priests to really sit down with us and see how they can do something. To Mr. James, I think he got the case where they're not making no one else by him there.
Yes.
Oh, Jehovah God is my family. And one day I was talking to the Bible wife because we are nurses together. They said, no, my God, I can just go crazy. You see? No, another joke now. I said so once or twice on the radio. We are very noisy. We don't think of God, and I really believe Dominica is with you. Bye-bye.
Okay. We have another caller. Good evening. Good evening.
Why, Sibo, I'm a lucky man tonight. I just decided to take a chance.
Okay.
Sibo and the crew.
Yeah, man.
How you doing, my friend?
We're
Hey,
good
how
on
is
you. We
Ozzy,
haven't
man?
heard you for a while, man.
Man, Ozzy, I always think about
Well,
Ozzy.
Ozzy is good, by the way. In fact, his sister got buried last week. In fact, Patty ran today, sent me a text, tell me, Ozzy, good night, by the way. I hope you're okay. Good night. Yeah, but Ozzy is
Yes,
okay.
man. If he listening to me, let me
I'm
say
sure
hello
he's
to
listening.
Ozzy, man.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
The Dominican Encyclopedia.
Mhm.
What, Ozzy? Hey, Sibo, I
Mhm.
just heard Mr. Landa say something about he wished the church preacher or leaders should
Mhm.
say something. Mr. Landa, I just called to tell you, if you are a follower, you cannot lead. People who they put in leadership position have never been leaders. They were followers and they are still followers. So this is where the problem is, my friend. We are lost, 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 lost. You know, the one that they have run in the country is a follower, he's not a leader. He's run automatically by outside influence. He don't care about the people. People that look like him don't count. It's only a few people who can carry out his agenda, and the rest is Chinese and Arabs. Fellas, I'm out. Sibo, thank you, my
Okay,
man.
cool. No problem, bro. No problem. No problem. We have another caller. Good evening.
What's your Fibo?
Hey, bonsoir, bonsoir. Ça va bien?
Ever pas bien, ça va faire.
Well,
All right.
yo tout le monde là. Lobby là,
Right.
Dr. Fontaine là, Ronald là. Tout le monde là.
Dr. Fountain, bon pack ça tout.
Bon pack.
Maman de où qu'elle soit.
Oui, dis-moi.
Fibo,
Oui,
catholique sont bon l'église.
oui.
Donc, ça va
Moi
faire.
d'accord avec vous.
Oui, mais il pas qu'il y a ceux qui bloquent la messe à tout coin. À tout coin. Je suis sur ça going out, sorti de ordre.
Mhm.
Canadiens qui bloquent, mais qui nous bouillent pas parce que ou aller sur l'autre ville, ou aller l'autre. You know, like before.
Mm-mm.
That's what they're supposed to do. I mean, we're going to church, we're going to l'église, oui.
Mm.
Mais au passage, we can communier pour qu'elle ait dit, come and meet me, nous voyons le monde tout.
Okay. What I know. Bonsoir.
Sibo, we're in
Yeah.
Charlottesville. A test for you.
Charlottesville? Well,
Newton.
Newton up there. Charlottesville, Newton. Well, London is young Dave would have frequented Charlottesville up from where he lived.
I went
Yeah.
to primary school in
Yeah,
Charlottesville.
Charlottesville. Yeah.
Newton Primary
In
School.
fact, I used to go there often by my role up in the Newton area, past the church up there. I used to go there often.
So it's the
One-
entire area of Newtown, right?
Yeah. Charlottesville.
Charlottesville.
We have another caller. Good evening.
We're connected to La Sala.
Good evening. Good evening, man. What's up?
Man, it seems like I lock it this afternoon because I don't seem to be getting through these days.
Okay. Well, you here. So, yeah.
Yeah. You know, as the folks talking about it, Holy Thursday and the importance of in the church in the affairs of the country. Let me give you a little story because everybody know my voice by now.
Right.
I used to go to church on a Sunday afternoon. On a Sunday, my dad was a lay minister. My mother is a catechism teacher. So we involved in the.
Well, I would know that. You know that.
Our collection on a Sunday in our community used to be at least $200.
Right.
The last I spoke to my mom, she told me they hardly making $40 in a collection in a community.
My goodness.
Can you imagine this?
Yeah.
So it tells you when a church community cannot even give $40 in collection on a weekly basis. It tells you how bad the communities are. And the last time I got home, the same old faithfuls, my grandma passed, great, and the church is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And a lot more has to be done than just coming to church on a Sunday and preaching to people. But really going out in the communities and understanding the plight of the people is the plight of the church. And if a man cannot have to make a decision between buying bread and putting money in collection, guess what he's going to do? He's going to buy bread, right? But keep it up, gentlemen. We have to talk everywhere. We have to do what we have to do in sports and music, in art, in our day-to-day life, because Dominica is for us to build and for us to grow.
No problem, bro. You know, as you talk about that, the collection, Collier has probably one of the biggest churches on the West Coast. Christmas Eve, I went to Mass in Collier. There were 28 people in the church. I counted it. It's a big church, bigger than Salisbury, Jubile everywhere. 28 people in church. Why didn't church hear music outside? No, that's unheard of. In gone are the days, in the days gone by, you wouldn't have heard that. Christmas Eve, everyone, Christmas Day. 28 people were in
Yes,
church. I
yeah.
counted it.
Christmas
Yeah,
Eve, New
yeah,
Year's,
yeah.
Good Friday.
Yeah. Yeah. Another thing, I think that changed the leaders in society get involved. I bet you tomorrow night you probably hear music all around roads of people dancing all by the bridge then, and you hear the kind of songs they're singing, how they want to go down in this, they want to go down in that, all sorts of foolishness.
Well, where I'm concerned right now, there's not church in Maho nor Massac. The church is in Canefield. And the leader of the church is Father Elvio Augustine. And he motivates people, he inspires people. And a lot of people come to church.
Okay.
A lot of people come to church. And the collection, I heard a fellow say $40. The collection at that church is in the thousands.
Whoa, that's very good.
You know, and people come there. He inspires you. When he preaches in part English, in part Creole, and he inspires you. So I enjoy listening to this gentleman. And whenever he asks me to participate in the church, I participate. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be reading in the church.
Oh, well done, brother. Oh, that's superb, brother. Well, Lobby, are you going to church tomorrow night? We have another caller. You going to church?
Huh?
Lobby, will you be at church tomorrow night?
I have to fulfill my Lenten duties, you know.
Okay, well, let's
wherever I
take this
am.
caller. We'll talk about, let's take this caller. Hold on. Good evening. Hello? Bonsoir. We lost the caller, what? Yeah. Go ahead, Lobby. What do you say? You have to what?
No, I said that wherever I am, I always fulfill my Lenten duties.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Well, call you tomorrow morning. I'll be in church and call you for sure. The caller is back. Good evening.
Steve, why you said I want to go down in this show?
Yeah, well, not me. It's them that's singing that, not me. How they want to go down in this and go down in that. That kind of music.
But it's funny you say that, man, because I grew up as a Catholic myself, Steve, and when it's Lent season, my grandmother no cooking, no chicken, no beef, no pork. If she haven't got salt, fish, and fish, it's much Salvian.
You're right. You're very right.
But,
yes.
Yeah, so now things are not the same, man. But see, but making it worse, you're talking about those leaders. We Lent season, and you have our leaders persecuting people, innocent. To me, that's the biggest thing, people.
Well, I agree with you
because
too.
now is the time for us to reflect,
Exactly.
for us to repent, for us to try to better our ways. And that is the time you see more violence against the people, arrested innocent people. But I want to say something short.
Yeah, go ahead quickly. Yeah.
Your minister for security was on mat 2 days. I tried my best to get in, but my call never went through. And it looked like he has a problem with the word protest and procession. Because you could protest in a group, you don't have to walk, and we could just stand up together and say we don't like that law, we think it's bad, we think you stepping on our right. I have black more too, they're talking a bunch of stupid people. Every time he come on the radio, his company coming and campaign, you know. You know, coming as a minister of security for Dominica, it's like a labor. He always trying to make it sound like Labour Party against WP and against freedom. Electoral business is Dominica, it's not a party issue. And this guy is dividing people in the time of Lent where we're supposed to come together. So what do you expect? Anyway,
Thank you. Oh, before we take our first break, there's something I want to speak about quickly. The Constitution of Dominica. I know the Chief Election Officer, the Director of the Audit, the DPP, these posts are constitutional posts. They're supposed to be independent. In fact, under the Constitution, these people are supposed to go at 55. What I don't understand, how it is that a DPP can be at a press conference with police and things. How does that happen, Dr. Bonte? Because the Constitution, the DPP is supposed to be independent. Nobody can or supposed to tell the DPP what to do or how to do a work. And I cannot imagine that a constitutional post like that, you have people litigating cases in public, the DPP. How does that happen? I'd really like to know, man. I mean, we're really in a bad place. So let's take our first break, guys. Desiree, good night, by the way. Good night. Hope you get better.
Or you, where in Roseau, Kimashabis, you can just walk in and order all your chicken parts, wholesale, and even enjoy retail. It's at AC Chilling Further. All chicken parts available that you can Boy, fresh breast. And you know breast is best. Shillingford wings have muscle. After you eat it, you can fly. As for Shillingford chicken drumsticks, even swinging stars just order drumsticks from Shillingford. And for those of you who love Pull, AC Shillingford keeps your belly full. Buy your chicken wholesale at AC Shillingford. From wings to thighs to drums to breasts to backs to necks, it's available. It's always available and it's affordable. Plus, you've got pork feet, ham and turkey, bull foot, chicken nuggets, pepperoni, all those right seasonings to make your kitchen keep on ticking. Buy your wholesale chicken at AC Shillingford. When you think of chicken, think of AC Shillingford. Always fresh.
When you want the best, you do. Shop at SCA. Better than the rest. Go shop at SCA. And the husband well, shop at SCA. You get more for life. Shop at SCA. Shop at SCA. Yeah, shop at SCA. Shop at SCA. What is that? Shop at SCA. Yes, family, customer friendly, with free locations, it's so convenient, and our price is that's where you belong. Oh, tell your mama, tell your papa, shop at SCA. Tell your son and your daughter, shop at SCA. Auntie, nan, and cousin, friend, open power, all of them. Grandma, grandpa, couple, neighbor, girlfriend, boyfriend, side, what? Shop at SCA. Shop at SCA. Shop at SCA. Shop at SCA. Check us out at Pottersville, High Street, and downtown Rose. Looking for a quiet, relaxing place to stay? Call Porter's Place Guest House. Leaving the office late and need somewhere close to town? Call Porter's Place Guest House. Have business clients coming in and need accommodation? Call Porter's Place Guest House. Looking for group accommodation? Call Porter's Place Guest House. Located at 37 Goodwill Road in Portersville, upstairs ACS Supermarket. Enjoy our semi-self-contained rooms with private washroom, bathroom, Wi-Fi, air condition, cable network, mini refrigerator, all in a non-smoking environment. Call or WhatsApp at 1767-275-1899 or email us at info@portersplaceguesthouse.com to make your reservations. Porter's Place, your home away from home. Fit for a king, a queen, and all their royal subjects. The New India Insurance Company has reopened its doors in Portsmouth, offering the same great services you get in Roseau. Motor vehicle insurance, home and business owners, fire and related carriers, public liability, and so much more. Come, visit us today for insurance with a personal touch on Bay Street, Portsmouth, or call us at 445-4023. We are ready to serve you. Dominicans, insure your property, protect your property, you homeowner and businessman, protect your property, insure your property. Can't wait for the hurricane, can't wait till you flood again, can't wait till your roof fly out and all your business coming out. Remember, no insurance company will insure your property when a storm is approaching. Get ahead of the hurricane season and insure with a company who gives you the assurance of payment for your valid claim. Come speak with us today at the New India Assurance Company Limited, upstairs AC Shillingford and Company Limited, 24 King George Street, Roseau. Bring along an up-to-date valuation from a qualified engineer and get insured today.
Yes, we are back and we have with us. The same Ronald Charles, but he's here in a different capacity. The guy, you hear him every day. In fact, not this morning, I've come call you. I saw him coming from court in St. Joseph. So the guy is the real ultimate all around there now. Ronald, good night, man.
Good night to you, and good night to your many listeners. Good evening to Dr. Fontaine, of course, Mr. Lander,
and Lobby right there.
Lobby, I do apologize, but we always save the best for last,
Ron Charles, before you make your very valuable contribution, as you've been making all the time, I would like to commend the sponsors, AC Shillingford, for continuously sponsoring the program and advise listeners or supporters of this program to patronize AC Shillingford. I visited Julius Timothy recently, and he looks in good nick. The head is not there, but he looks in good nick. And I wish him well. I hope in the not too distant future, the head can come back, because that's some very good experience with this guy from 95 to 99. Some wonderful experiences working with him, and I wish him well.
Yes. So, Ronald, right. We're going to be talking cycling, right, Ronald? Yes. So, you have a biggie. By the way, are you taking part this weekend?
I always take part.
You go to be racing.
The thing is that
go ahead, tell us.
I am not always at the back this time. I'm somewhere in the middle.
Okay. Yeah. So tell me what race is on this weekend?
Okay. So this weekend we have, as you know, again, thank you for the opportunity. This weekend we have the third race on for the season. That is on the 20th of April 2025. That is from 8:30 in the morning. 7:31 would say for registration. The race starts at 8. Sorry, it's from Marboy Bar to Collio, your community.
Yeah, right.
So I'm hoping that you have to be in Collio with a cooler.
I will be.
So when the guys turn in, you can give them some water.
No, I have no problem. Sponsoring something. I'm giving it to you before that. So because probably why you saying I might be.
No, but I want to see your face.
I might be motivated by the time. Go on.
So it'll be around that time. We will turn in Collio and of course go back down into town, up to Point Michel, turn by the cemetery in Point Michel, and then back to Marboy.
But that's a grueling race.
No, it is good. It is good. We have
what's that distance?
It's about 36 miles.
What?
But the thing about it is the up and the down and the hills. That is where the killer is.
Because when you go down by Taro there, then you going up to say there's a lot of hills there.
But amazingly, we have some really, as you know, Coaf is in Colombia.
Oh, Colombia,
right. Colombia training, and he should be back with us very soon. He's there doing some training, and of course he will hopefully be taking part in the Pan American Championships, or games. So we're looking forward to this, and that will be somewhere in April 21st, thereabout. So that is what it is for Sunday, and we have all the categories. Of course, we still have the mountain bikers. We have the junior category. We have our sole female racer.
Oh yeah,
she's a force to be reckoned with.
But explain that, because she's going to be taking part together with the men
in the mountain bikes, and surprisingly, well, not surprisingly, she has put some of course, and she has put some serious blows on some of the mountain bikers. So it is what it is. But what is important is that it is very encouraging to see this young lady taking part. As you know, May Etienne normally take part in the races, but she's overseas. And then we have one or two other persons who are very interested. They come to the races. There's young women, but we haven't got a bike for them yet. So anybody out there who have the economic capacity to be able to donate 2 bikes or a bike to the Dominican Cycling Association, it will go towards these young women. So that is what we have on Sunday. Of course, we want to always take this opportunity to thank Q95. Q95 have been advertising the race for us. And we want to also find the Dominican Olympic Committee, KFC Dominica, of course, Josephine Gabriel and Company Limited, Sagico, HHV Richard and Company Limited, and all the other sponsors who are really helping us out to make this happen. The other thing that is important to say, we know it's a busy weekend, and some persons will say, well, it's a busy weekend, okay? We have, of course, every time we have in a race, we're ensuring that we have the ambulance services. We have the police escort. So we want to make sure we do that. The reason why we're doing the race early is because we believe during that time, the road is not that busy. And furthermore, we believe that during that time, you can get people coming out to support, rather than, all the time. So it's a holiday.
So what time do you start?
Well, we're gonna start the race at 8 o'clock
Okay.
on Sunday.
So how many races you have in all? How
We
many?
have 11 races.
Wow.
11 races for the season. The season.
No,
ends-
I'm talking about on Sunday.
No,
One
just
race.
one. Just one race.
One race.
Yeah, that one race we have in all the bumped
Had to get
bikes
race in
and
it.
the road races will be taken back.
So what you estimate? How much you estimated that a race like that somebody should make in what time? An hour?
That's
hour
a
and a
very
half?
good question. Boy, that's a perfect question.
Mhm.
Normally, it would take the riders like maybe Koaf, Ajani Kazimi, Gitson, and the top riders, Hayden Mills, even Daddy Chess. On a good day, you're talking about 2 hours.
Wow.
They would do it in 2 hours. Maybe Ajani and Koaf, maybe you're talking about an hour and a half. They could do it like
That's
that.
tough,
When you
boy.
talk
What?
about those like the Ronald Charleses and so,
Where was?
a little bit more than
What
that.
Hold on, Lobby. I see Lobby. Lobby, you want to say something?
Casimir and Baron is not there. Who should we be looking out for?
Well, and that's why we have seen some growth in our recruitment, and I'm very happy for this. There's a young guy named Gitson who is a Haitian national, and we have another 4 Haitian nationals that are into the cycling, and they're very young. Most of them are 17, 18, 19 for the most, and they're taking part. Gitson, who is a Haitian national, is one of the guys we have to be looking out for. He's really, really good. And in time, he will make wonders. So what we are seeing, what is developing, is a cycling team with the likes of Koaf, Ajani, so that is what we want. Maybe Gitson to himself. Of course, we'd have to make sure the normal, we do what we have to do in terms of
Yeah.
paperwork.
Lobby wants to ask you a question.
And,
Go ahead,
Yes.
Lobby.
yeah.
Yes, Ronald. My question is get at the Pan American Games and the Commonwealth Games. Can you tell the populace how does one qualify? The cyclist going to qualify for the Pan Am
Well,
Games
that's a
and the
good
Commonwealth Games.
question. The thing is, all the details. What we do is that we request to participate in terms of the qualification. Sometimes it is based on we are category. We're really in category 4, meaning that countries the cycling is not fully developed. It's a small population. There's a lot of issues as it relates to equipment and different things like that. So what we do, we request to participate, and they normally allow us. But in the line of things, in terms of qualifications, you would have to do the various races around the region in the Pan American Games and to be able to qualify. But going up against Colombia and going up against some high, people that are professional cyclists will not be able to get that slot that you deserve. So normally we request in terms, and there are other, and maybe Mr. Lubla can even help in this field in terms of other areas to qualify, just like how an athlete would qualify. Maybe he would know even better than me. So these are some of the things that we do from our end. And that is why we see it is so important to build that team, that group of young fellas that is will hopefully just make us proud in terms of that group dynamics, because cycling is not an individual sport. You can train as an individual, but when it comes for the races, you will find that when Koa, for example, or even Ajani take part in these races, what you have is that they're racing against teams of 7 cyclists.
Of course,
Some of them is 5, some of them is 6. So what happens is you will have one cyclist who they have already identified on a team that is going to be the one that they protecting.
True.
So they will pull him all along the way. He'll hold their wheels. He will get all the the shields that is necessary. He wouldn't be working as hard as what we call the mule. The mule is the one at the front, and he pulling everybody. So you wouldn't have that. So all these are the techniques that people use. So, for example, if you have these young people going into these races and they do not have that support, they do not have that extra person to help them, there's no way. It's going to be extremely difficult.
Question again.
Go ahead.
Yes, Ronald. Yes, Ronald. It has to do with cycling, and it has to do with maintenance. That on the road, who we have in Dominica in terms of, because you need to travel with someone to look after the cyclists. Who you have trained in Dominica to deal with that?
Again, a very good question. Over the past couple of years, we have been looking at our developmental program. I know Mr. Lander have always been speaking to that effect. what we have done is we were able to get Mr. Desmond Prosper, who is the General Secretary of the Dominica Cycling Association, presently doing level 2 course in maintenance of the of bicycles. And
Okay.
he is a mechanic, he's an automobile mechanic by profession. So it
That's
will
good.
help tremendously. So the course is coming on nicely. There's some more courses that
Is
he
he
has.
doing it online?
Yes, he's doing it online,
Okay,
and
okay.
he's doing his practicals and he's doing those things. Once we reach level 2, for a matter of fact, for us to receive more bikes from the UCI, which is our main office, for us to receive another 10 bikes, for example, in 2026, we must show that we have done some developmental work. That is to say, we have mechanics now that can fix the bikes and so forth. And
Very
then
important.
they'll be more than willing to work with us.
But,
The
but
other
le-
thing,
go
yeah.
ahead. But let me ask you, on the route, do you have medics around?
That is a very good
Do you have
question again.
medics?
Yes, we do. What we have one an ambulance following the entire race.
Okay.
So if something happens, the person will be checked
Okay.
out. The other thing that I want to also thank the scout, the St. Alphonsus scout troop, because they have been coming on board, and in every race now they're bringing a team of guys where they are able to stay in various intersections
Checkpoints.
and stay along.
Because
main
I was
points.
going to ask you
Yeah.
that. How would
So-
you know if somebody really reached Colio?
Right, because we have guys there, and it's a small team. It's easy
Oh.
to know that somebody didn't do it.
Okay.
And our guys are quite honest with the
Something else,
sport.
Charles.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mhm.
Yes, like as what you just said a while ago there in terms of the scout. What my time in the when we used to have road races, what I would do, yes, we utilize the scouts, but we had megaphones in strategic areas to alert, the vehicle, the drivers, just to alert them.
Yes, of course, and we do have one here too. So what it is that Sunday we're looking forward to it. I don't know if any of the weathermen can tell us if it will be dry or wet.
Well, look,
we have the
the
weatherman
expert
there,
right
the
there,
expert can
the
tell us.
all-rounder right there,
But
can tell, he can check
but
that for you.
what I also want to say to all the listeners, and thanks for this opportunity,
Yeah.
is that please, along anybody traversing around that time from around 8
Rosa
o'clock
to Collio side.
Rosa to Collio, look out for them.
But there'll not be much traffic. I get people
Yeah.
going to church. And
That is correct.
The,
So,
I expect the
and-
road to be busy.
You'll have some showers, Ronald. But
From what time?
in the early morning and in the afternoon.
Early morning around what time?
Yeah, it starts at around 4 o'clock. It's gone by 7, and by 1 o'clock it's back.
Great. So we get a perfect.
Yeah, give you a
Thank
time,
you, Mr. Weatherman. That's why we need you. We need you.
Thank you, AI.
Charles,
Yeah.
is there any way of generating revenues from such an activity?
That is another good question, and it's a challenging one. The reason for this is that we are all in this as a voluntary capacity. We have to expand the organization and have different committees that would be looking after those things, because you can only do so much at this stage. We will be looking into that. We will be doing some fundraising activity, but this is in the making. We're going to target this more likely in summer. We have a very good program coming up with KFC Dominica, where we will be dealing with the high school and primary school races. We will not be in that. So once you're not in primary school or secondary
You can't
school,
take part.
you can't take part.
Okay.
So no go up, no Ronald Charles. Which
But
maybe you can give me that section.
are those people trained in that?
Well, that is why we're going to do it more like an exhibition.
Okay.
So, for example, we will be seeking permission, and this is where you seek permission to do those things. We will be seeking permission by the Bayfront, to use the Bayfront as an area where we could, so that the young people can come those 5 years, 4 years, and then kind of seal it with some barriers. That is where you bring barriers, and you and you make sure that the young people get that opportunity to do something, because a lot of the 5-year-olds, the 6-year-olds, the parents are a little bit concerned with them being in that open space. So we must find somewhere to give them their excitement, but at the same time, it must be safe.
Something else,
Because
Ronald.
it's paramount.
Yes, Robert, go ahead.
Yes, Ronald. Just to help with cycling, years ago we used to have cycling. All right. What we did with when we have track meets in the Windsor Park, we would have certain races. We invite the cycling association, the cyclists to come on board. And we'll have certain races in the Windsor Park. That is will attract, more people.
You talking about using the perimeter of the Windsor Park?
Yes. Just have a race. Yes, a few races.
Permission.
No, listen, no. Let me. You work
Might be
in
difficult because
conjunction with
because
the
it's a
athletic association. For example, it's during. For example, if we have the nationals, you have the national track and field competition. So you can include a few cycling races at the
okay.
same
I
time.
see what you mean. Okay, no problem.
Because the field is already marked. And so
Oh,
on,
I
so
see what you
can
mean.
use
Yes,
it.
yes.
Yes.
So that is what we have Sunday
Yes,
coming.
well, I also wanted to ask you though, in terms of the way the sport is organized, do you only have mountain bikers, or do you also have those who do the BMX?
For now we have two types of bicycles that we use. It's the mountain bikes and the road bikes. A lot of the young people that come, that the 5 year olds and the 6 year old, we do what we call almost like a fun ride. You will see that they have BMX and so, but we are not into it yet. But interestingly, the BMX is actually a international sport. It's an Olympic sport for talent and skills, and so it has now joined that circle. We have a lot of people that love the BMX, but we have not yet ventured into that in terms of bringing it up. That is why we are saying when we get the young people involved in the summer, we will see a lot of BMX, and we'll use that avenue to see who that we can identify with the skills. Because sometimes what we'll be doing as part of our long-term goal is before a race we'll have stunts, but we'll have skills on things like the BMX, and so this is one of the areas that we want to improve on.
Yeah.
But before I go, let me just say that we are looking for volunteers. We're always looking for volunteers because as the sport is growing, we need persons to be able to assist us in our developmental plan.
But Ronald, you have the forum now to tell the people out there what type of person you're looking for.
Right.
To be a
We're
volunteer.
looking for
People listen
people.
to
We
you.
are looking for people that would be able to assist as a commissaire, for example. A commissaire is like a referee for the cycling races. We have courses that are coming up that we want persons that are interested in that field to come and learn the sport.
What age range?
Anything, adult and over.
Okay.
Adult and over.
Okay.
18 and over, you want to be a commissaire, you come. It's like a referee for cycling because there are a lot of things that you have to know as it relates to race preparation, race, and during the race, sponsors, how you deal with so many different activities, how you do crowd management, and a whole set of different things. The commissaires may not directly deal with that, but they'll give you pointers on that. All right. And of course, we're looking for volunteers in terms of like the scouts, what the scouts are doing for us. We're looking for volunteers to come early to set up, because when most of us, we have a small committee, and then people may wonder why he's always somewhere in the middle now, because he has improved. That is the same one. And one of the reason for that is that you find that because we have a small committee, you have to come, you have to set up, you have to wake up early, carry the things. Some of the cyclists, we have to go get them, we have to get their bikes, we have to organize, we have to make sure they have helmets, make sure the race is totally prepared, the event is ready to go. And by the time you get on the bike, you're feeling like you've done your own race already.
But that might be time. Roland.
I guess so the audience is understanding why I'm always in the middle. Not at the end, at the middle.
But let me ask you, the winners get prizes at the end of it?
Yes,
Okay.
at the end. And
Do you have sponsors for the prizes?
Definitely. And the sponsors you've heard me mention earlier, these are the people who have come on board with us. One of the things I want to say is highlight our DOC, but the KFC Dominica too have come on board as to collaborate with us. So they have given us a bag, they have given us some equipment, they're giving us financial support, and they're always there to support us. And of course, Josephine Gabriel and Company Limited, and HHV Whitchurch and Company Limited. These companies and many other companies, my boy company too, they all have throughout the years. It's not just this race or this season, especially the names that I'm calling now. They're always there with us, and we really want to say thank you. Sagicor is another company that is always when Miss Rule is. You just call on her. Today I just entered the office and I was able to get some kind of
financial support.
Wow.
All right.
Well, you think it's because of what you've been doing recently and your name is out there, Ronald? I mean, you're doing a fantastic job. You think all that counts? I mean, you've been doing really pro bono work already.
Yeah, exactly.
But
pro bono work.
in terms of what is done to transform the whole cycling program in Dominica, people are looking at that. And I commend you very highly, you and your executive, type of work that you all have done to develop cycling in Dominica.
Because it's not easy. As I said earlier, it's a very, and Mr. LeBlanc alluded to that, it's a very expensive sport. It is not cheap because you have tires. Some of my colleagues wouldn't like me to say that, but I'll say that for the record, that you have bikes that cost $40,000 and $50,000.
Well, how many people can afford that?
Bicycle?
To buy a bicycle?
I purchased a used bike, and my used bike is $7,500.
That's a lot of money.
So, and it's a used bike, almost 9 years old.
Wow.
So you can tell that the bikes are not as cheap.
Wow.
However, that is why we're getting support from the international body donating bikes on a regular basis. But you have to show improvement. You have to show you deserve it. You have to write the applications. You have to be on time. You have to do what you have to do to get it. I know that the Ministry of Sports, this is the next target group we're looking at.
Sorry, Ronnie, I have somebody who may be volunteering. I want to talk to you.
Oh, that's good. Tell him Sunday from they can be in my book.
Yes, good evening. Go ahead, please.
Simo,
yes.
One thing I want to say, as Mr. Charles talking there, right? I thought sports. But as he talking there, the man is doing so much, and he's charging a man lad for riot or something.
I like that. That's lovely. I like that. That's nice. That's nice. But you know,
that word is
the honor. But even this thing is wicked. These rioters using the stupid word rioters. Anyway, Ronald, we have to close up now.
No problem. Just thanks for the opportunity and continue to do the good job, and may God bless this wonderful station and the wonderful people that bring sports alive in Dominica.
And you continue to do all the good work you're doing, Ronald.
Thank you.
You're doing a fantastic work, cycling and whatever else you've been doing, helping people. And I heard the guy saying, you and Dr. Fountain helped him when you came to see Dr. Fountain came to see him in the prison. That is Dura yesterday. He said that uplifted him because he can be stressful in a cell. And you don't see rats and eating, drinking glossy and jackery, hard jackery.
But let me just say something lastly before I go.
Yeah.
Again, it's not only me. We have an executive. There, the General Secretary, Mr. Prosper. We have Daddy Chess. We have Levi. We have Pearl. We have Eugene, Philip, and all these people are assisting. Garon, Ducre, and all these people are assisting to make it happen. So thank you.
Thank you, guys. Take care. Guys, let's take a break now because our guests are waiting. Let's take a break now.
Join us next Thursday as together we stand. The United Workers' Party. Standing together, stronger than ever. The United Workers' Party Team Dominica is holding a political meeting at the Arch in Roseau, Dominica. The meeting begins from 6 p.m. and ends at 9 p.m. Thursday, April 24th, 2025. Standing together, April 24th, 2025. Meet the detainees and other speakers. We are standing for country at the Arch in Roseau. The United Workers' Party, united in purpose.
Where in Roseau, Kima Habibs, you can just walk in and order all your chicken parts, wholesale, and even enjoy retail. It's at AC Shillingford, all chicken parts available that you can afford. Fresh breast, and you know breast is best. Shillingford wings have muscle. After you eat it, you can fly. As for Shillingford chicken drumsticks, even swinging stars just order drumsticks from Shillingford. And for those of you who love full, AC Shillingford keeps your belly full. Buy your chicken wholesale at AC Shillingford. From wings to thighs to drums to breasts to backs to necks. It's available. It's always available, and it's affordable. Plus, you've got pork feet, ham and turkey, bull foot, chicken nuggets, pepperoni, all those right seasonings to make your kitchen keep on ticking. Buy your wholesale chicken at AC Shillingford. When you think of chicken, think of AC Shillingford. Always fresh.
When you want the best, what you do? Shop at the better than the rest. Go shop at the and they all compare. Shop at the You get more for what they say. Shop at SCA. Shop at SCA. Yeah. Shop at SCA. Shop at SCA. What they say. Shop at SCA. ACS family, customer friendly. With free locations, it's so convenient. And our prices, better than nice. Madam, that's where you belong. So tell your mama, tell your papa, shop at SCA. Tell your son and your daughter, shop at SCA. The men and cousin friend, open power, all of them. My grandpa, open neighbor, girlfriend, boyfriend, side. What? Shop at SCA. Shop at SCA. Oh yeah. Shop at SCA. Shop at SCA. Check us out at Portersville, High Street, and downtown Rose.
Back, and we're going to be talking about cricket, and the regional first class competition has just ended, and well, of course, we heard Guyana won. Guyana won. So we have a Guyanese man with us who lives in St. Lucia. How they call him the veteran broadcaster. He's known as. I know him long time. I played him when he was a commentator. He has continued to commentate. I heard him during the 4-day competition in 2 of the matches in St. Lucia. He did well. So let me say good night to Mr. Joseph Red Pereira. Good night, sir.
Yeah, good evening, Lockhart, and your panel. And it's a pleasure to be invited on your show.
Well, you're always welcome, sir. I mean, we speak on a regular basis. And in fact, I was just saying to Dr. Fontaine how listening to you during the 2 matches in St. Lucia, you were very good. We're still waiting on Fazia Mohammed to join us. He's supposed to be on. I don't know if he has gone to a political meeting in Trinidad. That's why he hasn't joined us yet. But Red, sir, Dr. Fontaine is here with me. Ronald Lander is here. Emmanuel Loblack. So you have a big panel there now with you tonight. Yes. Well, I just wish Fazia had joined already. But Reds, okay. Let's get straight to it. You've seen most of the matches. You commentated on the matches. How do you, from a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate this year's competition? In fact, I was checking the statistics. There were 40 centuries scored this year. In fact, the first 8 guys in the average is over 500 runs. You also have about 8 of them again close to 500. You have spinners, bowlers getting a lot of wickets. So I don't know if there's a combination of good batting or good pitches. You sort of tell us.
I think you hit the spot there, Lockhart.
Okay.
It's a combination of many things, including the fact that we use 2 different balls in the competition. And I think the conditions.
What explain when you said two different balls? You're talking about the kookaburra and the juke ball.
Yes.
Right. That's what you're referring to. All right. Yeah. Go ahead. Go on.
And some people were more comfortable with one against the other. Some people got a little more seam, less seam, more swing. Some people got a little more purchase as the game got older. So there are many reasons why maybe you see people scoring runs and getting wickets. Now, how many fast bowlers? And you got your stats there. How many fast bowlers picked up a lot of wickets?
Well, from what I'm seeing, the fast bowlers, you had Lane, the young fast bowler, took what, 27 wickets. He played for the academy. You have Lane. You have Tyson himself, who took what? Tyson took 16 wickets. You had Ocean Thomas, surprisingly, who took 17 wickets. So a few quickies had wickets. Mindley from Jamaica took 23 wickets. So and the young guy from Barbados, Simmons took 19 wickets himself. Yeah.
And there was a young St. Lucian who made his debut, who had an impact.
Yes. What's his name again? You should know, Red. You live in St. Lucia. Let me check the statistics. Yeah. I'm looking at statistics there. His name.
He got 6 in one game.
Yeah, he got right in his debut. Yeah. Let me see his name there. Let me look at it. Let me look. So many names there to look at. Yes, Gaston.
Yeah, that's right. 21 years of age.
Yeah, he took 8 wickets in the 2 matches he played.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Yeah. 8 wickets, yeah. So you
So,
saw him, you can tell listeners about it. I'm sure you would have seen Tyson as well.
yes, they both made a contribution. I mean, I think the all-round bowling performance of the Windwards here, funny enough, I mean, they seem to save the best for the Darren Sammy. Didn't play all that well away.
Well,
But
they had a bad season. Windwards had a bad season, Reds.
yeah, sure, by all means. I mean, they played well against Barbados, went to Guyana and Providence, and you couldn't recognize it was the same players and the same men who got runs and wickets.
Reds, you're Guyanese. Guyana, for the second year running, they have won the championship. But do you think that victory this year is tainted by this ball tampering stuff that went on in the last game?
Oh, yes.
Well, is that to me?
Yes, that's for you. Yes, I was just saying they
No,
won the championship, but do you think the victory is tainted by this ball tampering stuff that happened in the last game?
Yes. No, I heard Mr. Loback came in, so I backed away. I think right now, because of what I'm about to say on this program, and I am getting it and selling it as I heard it, as I was told, that you have to say alleged ball tampering.
Okay.
For the time being.
Okay. Okay.
Now the Trinidad papers, took the view. They were there. They probably had the information that Guyana were guilty of the ball tampering. What I heard from Guyana, and I saw Imlach being quoted, the Guyana captain, who seemed to be a level-headed fellow, he was saying that there was no evidence on the ball when the umpires called them and showed them. There was no evidence of a foreign substance.
In fact, Red, what he said is that the umpires took a decision with no evidence. He said that in Imlach. He said that.
Okay. Words to that effect. I mean, I'm not reading from the actual statement he made. Now, what I'm told, and respect to you and your panel, respect to Fazir, is that when the umpires called them together, there was a fait accompli. Accept these charges that Pamal and Anderson allegedly involved in the ball tampering. Ali Mohammed was fined, but he was fined for an action where he pelted the ball at the end of an over back to Imlach because he felt he had a leg before decision, which was a very unsportsmanlike thing to do. What the umpire said, look, you can accept these charges, right, plead guilty, or we will forfeit the match. Now I understand, and I didn't speak to a player, gentlemen. I didn't speak to anybody from the board, but you're hearing things. I mean, I call a number of people to say what you're hearing, and I took the hint from Imlat's statement that the Guyana board has now written to the West Indies board asking for more information, more clarification on the evidence regarding the ball tampering. That is my latest information, my brothers, on this matter.
So, Reds, I'm Thompson here. I'm wondering now, given what has happened, if they were to be found guilty, I'm not sure if they're going to continue to look at it, but if they're to be found guilty, do you think that they should forfeit should be forced to forfeit the championship? Because the argument that some people are using is that they will charge the 90% of their match fees. The match fee is $2,000. The championships fee is $250,000. So it seems that people were willing to give up, plead guilty, they give up the $2,000 to get to maintain the championship. So the question to you is, if found guilty and proven, I don't know how it can happen, but if they continue to look at this and they're found guilty, should Guyana be forced to forfeit?
Well, as it stands now, they have been found guilty, and the have been charged and they have paid the penalty. They have been found guilty. Whatever may come out now is the actual evidence to support the action taken by the umpires, which we don't know. We just have to wait and see. I mean, we have another situation where the lawyer for the BCA is now claiming that the decision not to pay the fees to the two teams was illegal.
And the
No?
prize money as well. He's talking
Yes.
about the prize money as well. Yes.
Yes. So we have to hear more about all of this, gentlemen. I'm not taking sides. I have long stopped being a Guyanese commentator. I am a Caribbean commentator.
Reds, while we're at Guyana and Imlach, you came out and said that you probably hope with the man for the captaincy. Clive Lloyd himself has backed up. Jeffrey Duja has backed up. But don't you think Darren Summy, when Bradford resigned, said that it's time to make a fresh start. Imlach is 24 years of age. This is his second year.
Yeah.
He's leading his team to a championship. Don't you think Imlach, Kevin Imlach, would be a candidate, or can be a candidate for the captaincy?
I certainly agree with you. As you know, I suggested that you have an all-format coach. I said keep it simple, allowed Hope to be given the test captaincy. Other people have come out and said different. I think Carl Hooper is suggesting Holder for the captaincy.
Yes, I saw that. Just
So,
Holder. Yeah.
I thought of Imlach, but when you see a young man, 2 test matches, from all reports, and I respect Ian Bishop a great deal, and he said that he was brilliant in Pakistan. There was a stumping down the leg side and batted reasonably well. There was one partnership that he participated in. I just thought that, you throw him into the battle against a very experienced Australian team. The knowledge and the personality of Cummins, it might not have been the best fit. But the facts are that he is the one captain who has a possible test pick. I mean, I'm not picking the team. That leaves.
No, but Red will be shocking if Imlach is not selected the first test team. He played. The silver was dropped for both matches in Pakistan. Imlach did well. In fact, just looking at the averages for this year, he scored 538 runs, an average of 67. The guy had 3 centuries, this year. So it'd be difficult for him not to start in the 11.
See, boy, I'm not making a case against Imlach because of lack of runs or lack of performance or lack of leadership.
Okay.
I'm just saying the one thing that passed through my mind that, I suppose you can equate this to Clive Lloyd in a sense, but he had a lot more first-class captaincy when he was sent to India in 74. I mean, he didn't have any tests on them. So there is a precedent there in a sense.
Yeah, because, Jason Holder got the captaincy. In fact, I believe Imlach has more experience than Jason when he was given the captaincy. And Shea Hope hasn't played red. He played 1 match for Barbados. He didn't score me run. In fact, not watching him in Pakistan. Yesterday, he only scored 1. The first game he played, he scored about 5. So he hasn't been doing well, even in the white ball cricket. And really, he hasn't played red ball for a while. So that is something that might work against him, honestly.
Well, when I inquired from the Barbados network, I was told that he was not interested. Right? So the man I back was told, somebody who I respect, I'm not going to call names because life is not like that. People tell you in confidence and you keep it, that he was not interested in being the red ball captain. I suppose if selected, he probably will play, but I'm saying that I was told he was not interested in the Red Ball captaincy.
Okay. Now, Reds, you've seen a few matches live. You followed it. In terms of what you have seen, the players you have seen, you want to name a few players who you think are ready. I've seen John Campbell scored 3 centuries this year in his comeback. Anderson of Guyana scored 3 centuries as well. From what you have seen, bowling and batting, who are the people you think that has caught your eye, the people in this year's competition?
Well, I think it's more the batsmen. I'm not going to say batter. I'm not involved in that kind of language. I mean, for me to call Cigar Piece Lobos a batter, that's a mortal sin. But what the English have decided that we must have batters left and right. Certainly, Anderson has put his hands up. But a lot of the questions that you just asked, I think you've got all the stats in front of you. I haven't printed the stats. I would feel that we will see a mixture of the young players they're thinking of. They will put in some test players, people who was part of the last tour or previous last 2 tours. And we will see that, gentlemen. I don't know if Fazir is with us yet.
No, I'm just sending a message ahead. We're not getting him yet, yeah.
You will see that, gentlemen, my brothers. You will see that reflected in the A tour by South Africa. The dates are just been. I
saw the fixtures come out, Reds. Yeah, the fixtures have just come out.
Right.
Well, you see all the games are in St. Lucia.
Yes, all the games are St. Lucia. That's the only thing St. Lucia has really got, other than their 2 first-class matches. But I mean, you don't know what's the rationale. I mean, St. Kitts seemed to be the flavor of the year, but best wishes.
The ex-president lives in St. Kitts. Remember that, eh? So.
No, I don't think he has an influence there.
You don't think so? Well, he was the guy who groomed Shallow for the presidency here, so remember that.
That's true. But I mean, you know, Trinidad has got the CPL, the West Indies Board 2020. Trinidad has gotten.
Starts next week, by the way. Starts next week.
Sure, starts next week. You have the breakout tournament. I don't feel that there is enough of a share, but that's only my opinion. I do not know all the facts. Like, I do not know why they had a break in the 4-day competition and why they were starting on a Wednesday. If you start on a Thursday, you get the Friday, Saturday. You get the Saturday, Sunday. And you might be able to pull some people. When Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the game is, I mean, the Leewards game against the Windwards was over in 3 days.
Reds, I have a few questions to ask you. The first one, you made mention of St. Kitts being the flavor of the day. What is the main reason for selecting a particular island, a destination for playing cricket?
Well, you know, it could be for different reasons. For example, whether the bidding system is being used. If you bid for something, you've got to put up the finance to get the bid accepted. Maybe St. Kitts has come up with the relevant finance to ensure that the West Indies Board will have a financially run tournament, whatever the tournament is. There wasn't a bidding system, as Lockhart knows. So I'm not saying there's favoritism. There are conditions of rental of the ground, conditions of hotel charges, all those factors, you know, are presented in a bid. All those factors are relevant to the West Indies Board. So what's the cost-effective venue? They probably will get the nod, gentlemen. That's the best way I can explain it.
Very interesting, because when you look at the crowd participation in St. Kitts, is very low. in international games. You seldom people come in St. Kitts. So you wonder why St. Kitts is attracting so many games over and over again.
Well, I've tried to give you some idea. I mean, when I see Australia is going to St. Kitts, I mean, St. Kitts is a country that I worked for when I was at the OECS Sports Desk. You know, I like St. Kitts as a venue. They had a very, very good number of events there over the years. But when you play Australia in St. Kitts, 8,000 people. You play that anywhere else, you're likely to get 15, 60,000 people. But, you know, that doesn't seem to really matter that the gate receipts are going to be done. Maybe that the bid was so strong by St. Kitts that they covered the shortfall of the gate receipts, gentlemen.
Very interesting. And even when you look at the playing field in St. Kitts, it's comparatively small compared to other destinations.
True.
Well, I don't believe that Lockhart would like to lead a side there because you'll have a nightmare as captain with trying to contain the runs.
Well, you know, Reds, when I played, the St. Kitts field was arguably the biggest field in the entire Caribbean. Remember that?
The whole field.
In fact, that's why I scored my double 100 was in St. Kitts.
Exactly.
And the pitch, you could close your eyes and play forward. But what happened, the government used the venue and put everything in that facility. The football field is right there. The netball field is right there. Everything is right in Water Park. In fact, the office of the Ministry of Sports is right there, as you would know, right inside there. So they put everything inside Water Park, everything there. That's what they've done. That's why the field is a bit so, but it was arguably the biggest field in the entire Caribbean, the playing area.
I did matches there during the period you're talking about. I mean, you know, the one thing that stands out in my mind there is 100 by Franklin Stevenson. But it just to back up what you're saying, Sibo, it was a very large venue, large venue. I mean, there was so much of real estate beyond the boundary line on both, on both sides, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
But whatever happened with the architecture design, the boundaries are very short, and you know, I mean, you get high scores there. I mean,
and the pitch is a road, really. The pitch is a road. That's the thing. Yeah, the pitch is like a road.
Well, I think, you know, I mean, the powers that be should ensure that there's a little bit of balance in terms of a little bit of grass, a little bit of sideways movement, a little bit of bumps. I mean, I saw Cornwall bowl there, and he wasn't getting the normal bumps that he will get. But yes, the pitch is a bit of a road.
Yeah, going back to the 4-day competition, I have noticed some people talking about Matthew Ford, you know, as they do similar things. Himself, Justin Graves, Jason Holder. Looking at his statistics, he's done well, both bat and ball. Matthew Ford, as you know, he plays in the T20. Did you see him? I'm sure you saw him, obviously. In fact, he made the winning runs against Windward Islands in the second game. You saw that in St. Lucia.
I think that from the Matthew Ford I first saw playing for the Kings, he's improved immensely. But I haven't yet decided that Matthew Ford is the next young all-rounder. Matthew Ford will play, I'm sure, against South Africa A. There will be some opportunity maybe to judge his quality. But I think people are maybe just impressed. I mean, he was very impressive here, but he got runs in Guyana when Barbados lost. I think he got runs in the second innings and almost provided Barbados with an outside chance. He
made 100 against the Leeward Islands, Reds? He made 100 against the Leewards.
Yep.
So you said possibly Ford being on West Indies A team. Has West Indies A team been published?
No, they haven't selected the team.
No, I didn't get that. I'm sorry.
No, you're asking about has the team been published. I just said to you, no, the team hasn't been announced. But we'll soon find out because the matches, I know they arrive in St. Lucia on the 16th of May. the South African to get to St. Lucia on the 16th, and the matches start, I think, on the 21st. In fact, there are 2 4-day games and 3 ODIs. All the matches are in St. Lucia. So I think it will be interesting, 1 minute, Lobby, it'll be interesting to see who they're going to appoint as the captain for that. That is what will be interesting.
Yes, very much so. Very much so. Now, I read in the Trinidad paper where people are saying that De Silva should lead the A side. I don't know how the panel feels about that, or which other young captain you might like to appoint. Or maybe Imlach could well be given the leadership of the A side. But no selection. Darren Sammy is the sole selector. I wouldn't say sole because there must be.
You know, that is why Reds, when they fired the selectors, they spoke about data, right?
They fired you.
Yeah, I'm talking about me. After that, they spoke about data. They fired Desmond Haynes as well. They fired Desmond Haynes. So one will obviously know they would have to go by the statistics. So it'll be interesting to see what they're going to do, because they say they're going to. In fact, they've employed a guy. What's his name? Jamal Smith. That's his job, to collect everything and hand over to Darren Sammy. So it'll be interesting to see how they're going to select the team. Because if you go in by the data, that's going to be very, very interesting. Because, take for instance, I heard Jason Mohammed Tuesday. I'm sure you would have seen him in an interview where he said he hoped his age is not going to be a negative against him. He scored the most runs. He made 4 centuries. Now, what's his name? If, let's say, Jason Mohammed were 28, would everybody have said that, well, he's going to go straight to the team? So if a man is fit and is making runs, do you select him, Red Spera?
I think if you have a young player, let's say Anderson or Wickham, who is at probably a below par.
No, he hasn't done well this year at all, Wickham.
No. But let's say Anderson. I think you need to invest in the future, because if you brought back Jason Mohammed, whose runs speak for itself, how many years he's going to give you? You spend the same amount of test matches blooding a young player, and you have somebody that you've got for the future. So you've got to balance it. I mean, I remember one year England were having an awful trouble with their opening position. They tried a number of people along with Len Hutton, Nelson Len Hutton, who was passed, and they brought back Cyril Washbrook from Lancashire, right? And it proved to be successful, but that was a one-off. That was a one-off.
Yeah, Rez, I tend to agree with you. I mean, Jason is 38 years old. So if you have to bring him in, the best he can probably give you is probably 1 year. And really, should you be investing in him now at this stage?
Well, we are both agreeing with each other.
Yeah, you're speaking about players, different players, and who may come in, who may stay out. What do you think about Hodge and Afanas retaining their position on the test team?
I would think that Atenas has not had the year that we were looking for. I'm told that he is liked by the powers that be. At one time, people were linking him as a possible test captain, but he just has not had the solid runs that he's about to play, so to speak. Hodge probably has looked a more compact player than Atenas. You name 2 people, I'm just referring to the 2. I would think that don't expect maybe the same batting that won us the test match in Pakistan, maybe to be reflected in the opening test against Australia in Barbados. I think we might see, for example, I mean, what are we going to do with the opening position? Rafid can buy a run, but
in fact, Reds, he scored a double 100 in one of these matches, and I'll tell you, Craig Brathwaite only finished with. Yeah, he scored a double 100. In fact, he made 212 in one match. And in 11 innings, he only aggregated 393 runs. And in one inning, he had 212. And he finished, one inning, he had a double hundred, 212. The other 10 innings,
He averaged 10 runs.
yes, that's all. So he had a horrible time. And
That is true, but he's the most experienced opening batsman we've got.
Yes.
You know,
is there consistency?
When you look, his runs this year, nobody could talk about. We have to look at the experience. He's made runs all over the world. Right now, what are the options? I don't believe that the St. Kitts opener, Louis
Jeremiah,
is technically strong to cope with the Australian attack. There is a bit of a gap between bat and pad. That ball coming back is going to give him trouble. The ball leaving him is going to give him trouble. So, what are the options to the selectors, gentlemen? Chanjapal
he had been injured, Reds. He hasn't played. He's been injured.
Yes, I was getting to that. He got a groin injury, right? And he cannot be considered. So you're down to maybe Brackett and Campbell.
Yes, Campbell scored 3 centuries this year. Scored over 500 runs on his return. Yeah, Campbell, 517.
Sibo.
Yes?
Yes, Reds. The first thing I want to ask you is about Shama Joseph. What is with Shama Joseph?
Well, I think he got over the shin splints. I actually spoke with him, and he said that he was working with the medical advice. He was working with the trainer. He played in one match. He didn't have great figures, but I'm told from Sean Devers that he bowled fairly well and quick. Well, of late, he's gone off to the IPL, where
he hasn't played a game. Oh, yeah, he hasn't played.
I know he hasn't played, but if you're part of a franchise in India, you got to do the work each and every day, as you probably will know, Sibo.
Yes.
So I think that his fitness level must be very high. We just do not know how they will go. And I said I'm talking about Darren Sammy and Miles Bascom. But I mean, if he's anywhere near how he played in Australia, right, comes back really fit and sharp, himself and Seals definitely has got to start. Azari Joseph has got to be in the mix. People are talking about Phillips, who is now in England playing for Lancashire. I may be wrong. So that.
The Reds, I still feel they'll pick Kimaroach.
Well, you're probably right. I mean, it could be.
Well, as you know, he's in England playing country for say. He's there playing. Yeah.
I mean, it will be the ideal farewell match in Barbados.
Yeah, true.
But I don't know if that is being planned. It depends. If he plays in the test match in Barbados, he has to earn his pick to play in the second test.
Question, Reds. Question, Sebastian. Question is this, Reds. My concern is with West Indies team, looking at players getting into the team with injuries, players breaking down. Do we have, what sort of medical team we have where players can be assessed, especially because fast bowling is hard work. I'm hearing that and as a former athlete, shin splints, I know about shin splints. It's not easy. All right? So I mean to say, in terms of advice, what kind of assessment? Who's going to assess Shaman Joseph properly? Will he be ready? Because test match is 5 days, is a lot of hard work, a lot of work. Who's going to assess him?
No, I think there was a worry that shin splints could really reduce your pace, right?
In their career too.
It can have an effect because a lot of English players, a lot of players who were riders, splits.
I
Depends
know.
on the treatment. I am not saying that they will pick him. I'm saying there's a possibility he may pick him, depending on how fit he is when he comes back from India.
Well, Reds, I do not believe if he wasn't fit, he would be in India for sure. Because you hear people who have left the team, different team, like Dr. Adam Zampa this week, shoulder problem. So if Shama Joseph wasn't fit, he would be in India all now.
Yeah, very good point. I mean, they are not going to play a man that kind of money just to have a name who beat Australia. He would have been found out that he was not fit before SIBO when he arrived there. So you gotta accept that he's there. He's contracted. He was on the bench. I think 2 matches ago, he was one of 4 reserve players, and he must have satisfied the franchise that brought him there that he was fit enough.
I'm just checking the statistics, Red. In the bowling department, the first 4 guys are all left-arm spinners. The first 4 in the averages, and there's a guy there. I see Bishop. Now, last year he took over 40 wickets. He's taking 30, and he's making runs as well. In fact, he made 100 as well for the academy team. So he's somebody. I guess you expect to see him in the A team. Somebody like Bishop, Joshua Bishop, Joel Andrew as well, who made almost 500 runs. The youngster,
exactly.
Joel Andrew.
As I said, I understand that they're going to look for all the possible test players, and they will include some test players who probably really needs to show their hand. I mean, I will expect that a number of people will be considered to be exposed if the selectors really want to see. Don't be surprised if Louis gets into their side. Right?
Yeah, true.
Don't be surprised.
I don't know if you saw young Shaquille Paris. Have you seen him? Did you see him back?
I saw him, but I saw him when he played the 2020. He looks a very good player. And there's another Barbadian who is 30 years of age, who was out of the blocks for the first 3 matches.
Jonathan Drakes?
Yep. No. He's never played for the West Indies. If you look at your sheet, you will see a Barbadian who scored quite a lot of runs. He probably tailed off towards the end.
Are you referring to Jonathan Drakes?
Exactly.
Yes, yeah. He made 500. He made over 500.
Exactly.
With
and
two centuries as well.
But
going back to Paris is 5th in the average. A young boy, about 21, 22. He made 5 half centuries in a century. He scored 546 runs. Shaquille Paris, good young player. Saw him in the CPL last year playing for a Trinidad team.
No, he was. The little I saw of him, he looked special.
Reds. You some time ago, I think it's last year, you on the same program, and you made an observation which I have been all the while talking about with Desmond Haynes. From the offset, I said Desmond Haynes should have been the batting coach, because you made a point a while ago in terms of Louis, technically. I believe that is where you need a coach who is technically sound, can assist those our batsmen. All right, don't know if because you look at India. When I look at India, I look at their staff. They have a very compact staff. This guy with bowling and batting, actually batting, they know who they have, to assist the upcoming batsmen. Who do we have, Reds? Who do we have?
Well, I think the man who said that he was given the wrong job was Clive Lloyd. It wasn't Red Pereira. Clive Lloyd said that the man should have been made the batting coach because of his background, his ability, his stats. He was a good technical player.
Yep.
look at Desmond Haynes today. I mean, I did a comment um, on St. Lucian Radio and Barbados Radio and Jamaica Radio. We now have him on the ICC Cricket Technical Committee.
Right.
And he's not serving West Indies cricket.
Well, that's a cop-out, Reg. The guy tried to pacify everything when they fired him and recommend him to go there. That's what happened. That's what happened. Yeah.
Reg, what do you think about Tyson making the A team? Tyson, the fast bowler from Dominica, making the A team. Is he a good candidate for the A team? West Indies A team?
I would say that he would be an outside bet, but there's a lot of young people around. There are a couple of Jamaican fast bowlers that you can't ignore. What about Pittman from the Leewards? I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure. But
are they genuine, Red? We're looking at fast bowlers. I ain't about fast bowlers. We need some genuine fast bowlers.
Well, there was no speed gun. There was no speed gun at the Darren Sammy, so I don't know if they were up to 80 and 84, but only time will tell, my brothers.
My last question for you, Reds. What is your opinion on the decision of the T20 captain? West Indies T20 captain.
It seemed a bit harsh.
Very harsh.
A bit harsh, because if you look at his record, his win-loss is not bad. We are what? Sibo, are we third?
We are number 5 now. When he took over, we were number 9.
Yeah.
We got to number 3 with him as a captain. In fact, he has captained in 37 matches. West Indies has won 19 for sure. So he has a better win in terms of win-loss. He has a better record in terms of win.
Well, the answer to the question, which you will probably work out, is that they want to have one captain for the
only thing I said, Reds, they're probably not sure if Powell is a sure pick on the team. Because if you look at the middle order, you have Puran, you have Hope now the captain, you have what's his name from Guyana? Rutherford. So you have 3, 4, 5 there. There's also Hetmeyer you have to consider. So maybe Sammy feels probably Powell is not a certain pick on the team. That's the only reason I can come to, because I found that very, very hard. In fact, I heard Dwayne Bravo say it is the worst decision West Indies have ever made. I heard him say that. Well, that's extreme anyhow. Yeah, I heard him say that.
That is very, very extreme.
Yeah.
Very extreme.
That's the only thing I can say. Probably they feel he's not a sure pick on the 11. That's the only thing I can say.
Yes, I think that probably was part of the decision. Let's see if you will now make the squad, although not captain.
Yeah. Let's shift a bit, Reds, because we're coming. And I heard you on, I think it was Tuesday, commenting on the ladies. The ladies won this morning, but they're still in danger of not qualifying. Now, under this regime in the last 5 years, West Indies have failed to qualify twice for the men for World Cups. The women, barring a miracle, I don't see them qualifying for this the ladies World Cup, because they have to play Thailand. They would have to win by a huge margin, because their net run rate is 0.283. Look, we have a statistician there. He can tell us that West Indies net run rate is 2.283. Bangladesh has 6 points already. West Indies can only reach 6 points. Bangladesh net run rate is 1 point whatever. So for West Indies to win, they would have to win by a huge margin to qualify. And in Scotland can qualify as well, can reach 6 points as well. So it might be a bit of a stretch for the West Indies when they play on Saturday against Thailand.
Well, I would like to go back. Look at the lack of investment by the many boards over the years. How much money we spent developing players after we won the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That's in 2013, right? It was 2013 won the World Cup?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, what development program we have, everybody in the schools in the Caribbean, they play netball, they run track, they swim, they play basketball, they play volleyball. Our schools, our girls do not play cricket. All the other countries, their schools play cricket. So there's no nursery there. You look at the under 19 team that we sent to the under 19 World Cup. I felt watching them. A lot of them started playing the game when they were 17. Unless we get down to the 12s and the 14-year-olds where the fundamentals, the techniques are part of the memory muscle, we are going to continue to struggle. The other thing, other than the lack of investment, I mean, only Trinidad has got clubs, you know. The rest of the Caribbean, I'm not aware that there are clubs. There's a strong little group in Berbice, I know. Very strong little group in Berbice. And Roland Butcher in Barbados has just started a girls' club. He's found sponsorship, and there's a lot of young people playing. One of the things he told me, that if you form a girls' club in Dominica, they must have their own space. It mustn't be boys and girls playing. It must be girls getting the focus and all the protection that you need for girls.
Reg, you know, just stick up in a bit. When Desmond Hayden was fired, you know that the Anne Brown was also the chairman of selector for the ladies. You remember they said she was fired as well. And then subsequently we heard that, well, they lied. And she's been there under this new regime for the past 6 years, and the standard of our ladies cricket has gone. And apart from Haley Matthews, I don't see anything we have coming forward, because a lot of what will happen, you remember after the 70s when all these guys retired at the same time, Stephanie Taylor obviously coming to the end of her career, Campbell, and we're going to be struggling for a long time in this ladies cricket. I'm saying that we're going to be struggling for a long time.
Well, my response, gentlemen, is that I like the look of Glasgow.
Mm-hmm.
I think she is the kind of talent that they should have brought on, and there were many other people. The Guyanese off spinner who played in the game last night, Monishwar, he should have been brought on. They kept, I wouldn't call names, but they kept.
Ramnarak, you mean? Ramnarak?
No. The Guyanese off spinner is Monishwar.
No, you're talking about Ramnarak, you said, because she has been expensive in Ramnarak, the spinner.
No, but she's a young player. I mean, she was expensive, maybe 3 overs for 18 or something like that. But overall, I mean, she's been taking wickets. She's been doing well. But we have been carrying a lot of players who, if you look at their averages, you know, it's 15 and 16 after so many one days and T20s. I don't want to call names, but there are a number of people who their names kept coming up, and you wonder why we're not exposing other people. There's a girl here called Crafton who seems to be a talent, but the likes of Crafton and James of late is getting the exposure. For a long time, James is batting at number 8, you know. So we haven't brought on players. Gentlemen, right? And we are paying the price for that. I mean, there's Williams from St. Kitts, opening batsman. She also keeps. They haven't really brought on players. There's a question mark to the kind of work that maybe the coaching staff has done. And just to come back to the West Indies red ball, I know we're running out of time. I feel we should have a white ball backroom staff and a red ball backroom staff. I don't believe that the white ball backroom staff should be the same supporting the red ball.
Well, you know, as we talk about coach, I think I see Kohli now is part of the Bermuda setup for this thing taking part in, and I see Jimmy Adams is in Zimbabwe now. So We don't know what's they're going to do. Who are the people they're going to use for the Australian series? We don't, or even for the England, because they go to England 2 weeks time, for England and Ireland, the white ball team, ODIs and T20s.
And
They
you
leave
see,
for England very soon.
we finish in the UK about 10 or 11 days before the first ball is bowled in Barbados. I would have thought that they would have used Kohli to start the camp with the group. And when Sammy leaves England, he comes and he picks up the
Let me ask you a question. If you were Andrew Kohli, you would accept that? After the way he was treated, if you were in his position, would you accept that?
Boy, I can't answer for Andre Kohli. But I would say to come back to the point to come back to the point you're making, Sibo. I felt that the announcement of Darren Sammy taking over was made too early. That the man had not left for Pakistan.
Yes.
Was already fully aware that this will be his last hurrah. But he seemed to be mentally strong. And he was able, after a disastrous first test, to turn things around. He obviously had men believing. He had men believing in themselves, believing in the team. So he came out of Pakistan with a couple of pretty good points, gentlemen.
Yes.
Whereas a quick question and was slightly different. I just wanted your take on Joel Wilson being removed from the elite panel.
Boy, I do not see the match reports. You don't see the match reports. Sibo don't see the match reports. The gentleman who asked me a lot of probing questions don't see the match reports. The match reports from captains tells a story, you know. And I think there is a suggestion that when the Australian left arm spinner was
reported
to be pelting, that seemed to operate maybe against his judgment. When 2 weeks after he was cleared again.
But you know, Red, to help you, Dr. Funk, if you look, Joel Wilson, a number of referrals have gone against him. Many. If you look at matches he has umpired, sometimes 3-4 in one game, that referrals he has lost. LBW lose everything caught behind. So he really hasn't helped himself. And as you know, it is best. The only one I was surprised is Michael Goff. Goff was one of the best umpires. I don't understand what has happened there.
Yeah, exactly. But you see, Sibo, you have led sides. You have written reports about
umpires. Yes.
Umpires. You know what you have written, and you know what captains may say or may not say. You know. And
the only thing I say in the Caribbean, sometimes when you make reports, sometimes it depends on who the people get away. But the ICC, I don't think you'll get away at the ICC level. That's the difference. With somebody like Joel Wilson, felt sorry for him. But the thing about it, I don't. You can get back, but I am not too sure if Joel Wilson will get back. Honestly, you can get back on the panel. And West Indies now have nobody on the ICC panel. Nobody. You're not hearing us, right? You're not hearing us? He's speaking about. Have we lost you, Red?
We've lost him.
You seem to have lost you, Red.
We've lost him.
You sure your mic is not muted?
No, he's not muted. We've lost his audio.
Yeah, we've lost him. Yeah, we lost him. Well, guys, I didn't realize that's the time now. I mean, we have come almost to the end of the program. Do we take a break? And no? Yeah, I think that's the end of the program. Reds, anyway, I just want to say thanks to you. We would lost you. Thank you so much that we seem to have lost you. And have a good Easter. Go to church, pray, and don't go to grocery on Saturday night. Stay at your house, please. And have fun. Guys, everybody, I'm sure all four of us will be at church over the weekend. I'll be myself on Sunday. So we want to wish everybody a happy Easter. Everybody, peaceful and happy Easter. People go to church. The other religions, go enjoy yourself, and everybody does enjoy yourself.
Sibo, but just before
Yeah.
you end, a question from one of the persons looking on. The question is on Fontaine and Pascal in the recent series.
Oh yeah, in the under 19,
In the under
yes.
19.
Yes, very, very good. Our guys did well. The team did well. The team won the championship. You mean young Pascal, Stephen Pascal, and the senior Fontaine, good young cricketer. In fact, there are about 6 or 7 Dominicans on the squad, the Win Island squad. Yeah, that will play in the tournament. Somebody's calling now. That's a bit late. Let's just take the caller quickly. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. I just want to be very short.
Yeah.
I just want to congratulate the greatest athletics club in Dominica, the Pioneers Athletics Club,
Right.
led by Cedric Harris. They just won the recently concluded CIG games by a blowout.
Okay.
Pioneers got 51 medals. The second place got 35 medals.
Okay.
And they got 18 medals, gold medals. They were confirmed gold medals. So I just want to congratulate them, tell them stay focused, don't get complacent, keep up the good work. And in fact, one of them is actually in the character team.
Are you a member of that club, sir?
Well, I'm the vice president.
Well, in fact, I spoke to Cedric Harris. He was supposed to have joined us, but as you would know, he went to Trinidad himself on his own. He paid his own passage. He's in Trinidad now for the character. He left yesterday because we were trying to get him on the program to talk about what you just said there.
Yes. It was a wonderful, wonderful time. I mean, everybody pushed hard. Everybody pushed hard. And not just that, the reality and pedigree and history of Pioneers, literally, is that this year, last year, the year before, at least within the past 5 years, they've always dominated as champions. When you look at the point standing, for example, if they get, let's say, 500 points, the other side get 300 points. That's the kind of gap Pioneers have. And one of the good things about them, I think other teams in Dominica and even athletes can take, is their training culture. Every day, those athletes want to be training. Public holidays, they say, in Thursday, let us train. So that's the kind of attitude I believe. These are Dominica's best ambassadors in terms of sport.
Thank you, caller. So on that note, I want to say good night. We'll leave you with a song, Stay With God by Paula Gale, and just enjoy it. And everybody have a good Easter. Stay With God by Paula Gale.
Mountains get so high sometimes. I know the valley seems so wide. It seems this journey, it will never end. And you keep asking, God, why? I know the road, it gets so rocky at times. I know the heartaches are severe. It seems like life will never change its time. But there's an answer to all of life. Here's stay with God. In spite of what you see or feel. Stay with God. In spite of how things may appear. Stay with God. It doesn't matter what may come our way. There is only one place we are faithful. Stay with God. Together. The way says it about now. I know you feel you care for that's on. Together with carrying you on. Remember who said to cast all fears on it. Your